it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal. It's time for another rant from my kitchen. Keeping an eye on my chicken stock here. And this is about how some pro-lifers represent what abortion rights advocates are saying. And I want you to think about, let's start with Second Amendment advocates. In fact, let's start with Charlie Kirk. And let's talk about how what he believed has been misrepresented. People saying that Charlie Kirk didn't care if kids died in school shootings. Now, would you call that an accurate representation of Charlie Kirk? Do you think he was completely indifferent to whether kids died in school shootings? Not unless you're an idiot. Not unless you've been manipulated by the media. Not unless you've heard the false witness that people bore against Charlie Kirk. Because, you know, when you're defending the Second Amendment, it's about people being able to defend themselves. It's about a right to protect innocent lives. And unfortunately, when you have a tool that people use to protect innocent lives, some people will use it in a guilty manner. But, you know, the number of people who are saved because they are able to stop the guilty person offsets the much smaller number of people who are taken out by guilty persons. So when we look at what Charlie Kirk was actually saying, at no point did he even imply that he thought school shootings were no big deal. But people bore false witness against him and said that he didn't care about school shootings. But, and I'm looking at you, Life News, a lot of pro-life people misrepresent what people who support legal abortion are actually saying. And it's always they support killing babies. They support killing babies in abortion. And when I call people out on it, they'll go, well, abortion kills babies and they support abortion, therefore they support killing babies. But you're misrepresenting what their motives are, and you are ignoring their spiritual blindness. And you're demonizing somebody who is deceived. Now, yes, they went down a path to allow themselves to be deceived, but they're still deceived. And you shouldn't present them as they want to kill babies, because that's not what they want. And it's very rare that an abortion activist even grasps the reality that abortion kills babies. And sometimes you'll hear, like one example, they pointed out this politician supports killing babies up to birth. And they had this video, and she was saying she supported abortion up to birth because sometimes the fetus dies. And if you listen to her and you listen to what she was actually saying, she was saying that she supports emergency obstetric care in the case of fetal death. She had been lied to and told that legally this was an abortion. So instead of addressing the real issue, which is the pro-abortion movement lying and saying that abortion bans prevent emergency obstetric care, Life News was far more focused on trying to demonize this politician and misrepresent her beliefs. And yeah, it is very, very rare that anybody who doesn't actively work in an abortion clinic with the dead babies owns up to the fact that what this is killing babies. They're always focused on the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman, and there's this blind spot where the baby is. And I think the most glaring example of this is Beverly McMillan. Now, Beverly McMillan is now a very staunch pro-life advocate, but she didn't used to be. She had opened the first abortion facility in Mississippi after Roe versus Wade. And if you listen to her tell her story, she wasn't, oh wow, it's legal to kill babies, I just want to rip their little arms and legs off. No, it was, she had seen women in emergency rooms suffering from criminal abortion complications, and she got it into her head that, well, if we make it legal for good doctors to do this, the women won't be injured. And again, the baby was invisible. By the time she saw these women, the baby was long since dead. So the baby was invisible to her, and she was wanting to help these women in a desperate situation. And in a way, it's kind of like how so many well-meaning people still somehow manage to support communism. And you can point to Stalin and Pol Pot and Mao and, or what's his name in Cuba, Trudeau's father, Castro. And they'll go, well, real communism have never been tried. If we did communism, it would be good and beautiful. Okay? They don't look at these botched abortions and go, well, if we, they're looking at them and going, well, if we did them, we would do them properly. We would save these women. And they're completely blind to the fact that, you start doing abortions and it turns you into the kind of person who does that to women. So just like modern Marxists just can't get it through their heads that Marxism always leads to murder, they can't get it into their heads that once you accept the idea that you help women by doing abortions, it kind of leads you astray. They don't see it. But let's get back to Beverly McMillan, okay, and her idea that, well, if I was doing abortions, they'd be done safely and these women wouldn't be harmed. And, they view the baby's death, if they view it as a baby at all, as inevitable, okay? Now, Beverly McMillan actually would do the body parts check in the procedure room, so she would know if she would have to go back in and do another pass with the suction because she hadn't gotten everything. But the amazing thing is she talked about the first crack in this wall of lies that what she was doing was helping women was when a new employee asked her, what is it that you do over there at the sink? And Beverly's like, oh, come on over here, I'll show you. And that's where you count, did I get 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, a spine, and the internal organs and the placenta. She said that was the first time she ever recognized that what she had there in front of her were the remains of a baby that had been alive moments ago until she had killed it. And she said, I don't know what I did before. I guess I just counted. There she was every day, multiple times a day, looking, okay, 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, a spine, the intestines. Yeah, we got everything. But was completely spiritually blind to the fact that what she had just done was kill a baby. And if somebody who can be working in the abortion clinic, looking at the remains and have that blindness where they're unable to see that they just killed a baby, what do you think of some celebrity who's never seen the remains of an aborted baby, some politician who's never seen the remains of an aborted baby, and everybody's telling them again and again, there's no baby there, we're just removing tissue, we're just halting a pregnancy, and their focus is on, well, we have to help these poor desperate women or they'll die in botched criminal abortions. They're deceived. They are not there going, oh, killing babies, it's so cool. It's so groovy to kill. I love killing me some babies. When you say that they are supporting killing babies, you are misrepresenting their motives and you are bearing false witness just as much as the people who said Charlie Kirk and other Second Amendment defenders are indifferent to school shootings. When you misrepresent a person's motives, you are bearing false witness against them. And Life News, you need to stop it.